पतितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the last verse we saw that while in the dream, the dreamer takes the dream world to be real, but the waker sees it as mithya. Because it is not totally real, it has a dependent reality. The waker in the waking world takes everything as real, and the wise person takes even the waking, the empirical, as mithya. Okay? So, once you know this paramarthika, then what it says is paramarthikaha jivaha tu brahma aikyam paramarthikam pratiti ikshate na anyat ikshate tu amruta atmana. Okay? Once you understand the paramarthika, the awareness, then he says, this is, now it is interesting how he is using these words, because he is as though making jiva into pratibhasika jiva, vyavaharika jiva and paramarthika jiva. So this is why when you follow the translations, there is so much limitation. That's why you need a teacher. Because as though jiva is pratibhasika, jiva is vyavaharika and jiva is paramarthika. These are the terms that he uses. Right? But one jiva either is caught in paramarthika, caught in pratibhasika, or takes vyavaharika as the absolute reality, or that jiva knows the reality. That is the real meaning. Okay? Paramarthika jiva, there is no such thing called paramarthika jiva. Right? The jiva who knows the final reality. What does the person see? Paramarthikam is, what is the absolute reality is Brahma Aikyam. Okay? So that means the person sees Brahman in everything. Okay? Na anyat ikshate. No matter which form comes, no matter which feeling comes, the person is no longer fooled, because the drishti on paramartha remains very clear. Drishti means the vision of paramartha, which is the absolute reality, is very clear. Is not fooled by what the coming of any given object, coming of any given situation, coming of any given feeling. The person is not shaken. Person's knowledge does not depend upon what comes and goes. If everything is fine, I'm okay. If things according to me are not fine, then I'm ruffled. That doesn't happen. Okay? Because the drishti is on paramartha. So that means once the drishti is on paramartha, then forms never create any problem. So you can have thousands of ornaments from gold. One could be a bangle, other could be a necklace, the third could be a ring, earring, all kinds of different ornaments made from the gold. If your focus is on form, and if you are a ring, you would be jealous of a necklace. You will say, I'm so small and necklace is so big. Nobody really very much notices me, but necklace is always in front and everybody sees that very immediately. So these kind of, as long as your drishti is on the form, these kind of things you can't avoid. That's why you need a paradigm shift, and you have to understand, no matter which form is there, there is one content which is the gold. The gold, while appearing in hundreds and hundreds of different forms, remains gold. It is never influenced by the form. So now, look at the last prayer that we do. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. A ring is gold, so that if I look here, Purnam Adav Purna Idam, this is gold, that is also gold. A wise ring. The change of vision. This ring is gold, that necklace is also gold. From the gold, both of them have come about. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. From gold has come the ring, and from gold has come the necklace. And the gold, does it undergo any intrinsic change to become the ring or the necklace No. This is why when you go to a goldsmith, he will weigh. What does the goldsmith weigh? While the goldsmith is weighing the ring, what is the weight?
The gold.
Gold. If I take out the gold, what is the weight of the ring? Nothing. And when the goldsmith is weighing, the necklace is also weighing what? The gold. So that means Purnat Purnam Udachyate. The gold which was already full in this example, the fullness of gold remains or not? Does it reduce when it is in form of a ring? And does it increase when it is in form of a necklace? Gold remains exactly gold. While appearing in that form, it transcends what? The limitation of that form. This is called transcendence. Transcendence doesn't mean the ring is trying to transcend and look and feel the gold. Pervading, it is free. Purnat Purnam Udachyate. From the gold, Purnasya Purnam Adaya. You add one more form to the gold, and you subtract one more form, or 5,000 more forms to the gold. The coming and going of the forms, does it do anything to the gold? Purnam eva avashishyate. Gold only remains. Indian mathematics. You add, you subtract, and it only one thing remains that contradicts every mathematical law. And we still get away with it. We get away with it because that is the truth. Forms will come and forms will go. There are differences in forms. Nobody can deny the differences in forms. can the ring say, oh, everything is gold, so everything is the same? Everything is, if your drishti is in form, everything is not the same. You better get it right. But if your drishti is on gold, then everything is only one. Forms are different. The wise person will continue to see different forms. And the forms that the wise person sees, they keep changing. Because forms do change. Even the body with which the wise person sees, it itself is changing. Nothing stays stationary. In spite of the changes, gold taking so many different forms, new forms come into being, the old forms go. The same ring, you can go to a goldsmith and what will he do? He will melt it and make you something else, earring out of it. Same. What has happened to the gold? Nothing. You add forms, you subtract forms, you change the forms, you use your creativity, and fashions keep changing. One time long earring, then the other time round earring, then all different, then all these, going up like this, all these will change. That is how things are. The forms will change. So that forms will change means what? Situations will change. It's not like forms will change. Yeah, who cares if this form changes? Situations that you have to go through will change. The feelings that come along with situations will change. The emotions will change. All that will change. What is one unchanging reality is awareness. That never changes. And everything else that is seen is what? Mithya. It has a dependent reality. A dependent reality itself, for our sanity, you just don't dismiss it as mithya, is divided into Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika. This is a huge contribution of Vedanta. So you don't start flying with the idea of limitlessness, world is mithya, I don't need to care for the world. If you want to get out of the world, you need to first understand the world. You have to understand mithya to get out of mithya. Not only understand satya, understand the nature of mithya, how it comes into being, how it is organizing itself. All that has to be clear. And then only you have to reduce your pratibhasika. Because you have opinion about the world and yourself. You have to reduce that. How will you reduce? With reference to what? Not with reference to Brahman, paramarthika. You will reduce it with reference to what? Vyavaharika. Wonderful. You have to reduce it with reference to Vyavaharika Mithya. You are working within Mithya. Your whole growth is working within Mithya, dependent reality. So therefore we can't just afford to disregard Mithya. So this is what, that That is your first step. Once you have worked and you have come to mithya, vyavaharika mithya, then what? You can move to paramarthika. That's the last verse. Before that, what we need to see is, in awareness, there is no bheda. Bheda means there is no difference. There is no difference. What does it mean? There is no division. What is this division? So this any division we divide into three categories: sajatiya bheda, vijatiya bheda, and swagata bheda. Sorry, Carl, one more Sanskrit terms. Last class. Very important to understand that. Okay? What is sajatiya bheda? Bheda is division. Sajatiya bheda means it depends upon what you define a division between within one group, one similar group. That is called sajatiya bheda. And now that depends upon what you define as a group. For example, if I say one group is mango tree, then every unit which belongs to this group, mango tree, each one has what? Its own distinction. One mango tree is different from another mango tree. You can say one is what? Alfonso, and the other one is what? Some other Langada. But if you redefine this Sajati as Alfonso tree, then even among Alfonso trees there is what? Difference. So when we talk about differences, we talk about Sajatiya Bheda, the differences that exist within one group of what? Similar objects. There is a second Bheda, which is what we call Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda means there is difference between two objects belonging to different groups. That is very easy. Tree is different from a cow. Cow belongs to one group, tree belongs to other group. They have two different groups and there is difference. So the differences or divisions exist between objects belonging to the same group, objects belonging to different groups, Vijatiya Bheda, and there is a third type of Bheda, which is what we call Swagataha Bheda. Swagata Bheda means within one thing there is difference. One thing, one body. Hand is different from legs. Eyes are different from ears. Because that one thing has many different parts, as we have seen before. So therefore, in this universe, there are three different types of Vedas. What? Sajatiya Bheda, Vijatiya Bheda, and Swagata Bheda. The Bheda is difference that exists within what? Objects belonging to the same group, objects belonging to the different group, and one object itself has so many differences because it constitutes of parts. For Brahman, what in this world is there any, what is in Brahman, are there any of these differences? Does Brahman belong to one jati, one group, and everything else belongs to another group called Drik and Drishya, are they two different groups? No. So that means Sajatiya Bheda is not there. There are no groups. But it's not like Brahman belongs to Drik group and everything else belongs to Drishya group. There is no Sajatiya Bheda. There are not many Brahmans. There are not many Drik. Drik means the seer. You have to bring back the topic. And you have to use the topic to understand the final verses. If there are many seers, this is what we think. There are many seers. And we divide the seers into groups. Indian national, German national, white color, brown color. And this is how we live in this world. Don't think that, oh, this is some funny thing. This is how everybody lives in the world. Me, this, and then I belong to one group. It's so deeply entrenched. Your identification. With what? Male, female, of this nationality, of this age, of this generation. Your whole identity is formed like that. If you really understand the reality about the nature of I, the Brahman has what? No division. You have to understand that. Nothing that you are going to see is going to create that division. That is knowledge. Because there is no division in Brahman. That's why. Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda means you cannot say there are many different druks, which are many different seers, and I am one of the seer which has these characteristics. You can't do that. Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda means I am druk and everybody else is druk. But Drishya is different. That also you cannot do. Because it will become what? Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda means one group is the seer and the other group is what? The seen, and the seer is different from the seen. What is the relationship that we saw between seer? Initially we said this is seer and everything else is seen. After that, what did we do? We defined what is seen as mithya. It doesn't create any division in the seer. Mithya cannot create division in Satyam. So therefore, there is no Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya Bheda, what does it mean? There is nothing other than Brahman. It's not like Brahman is one thing, a feeling comes and Brahman is shaken. What kind of Brahman is that? You are making it so frivolous by your own understanding. So this is what you have to understand. There is no second group other than Brahman. This is why we don't have to stay away from the world. When you want to stay away from the world, implicitly what are you doing? You are making one group, which is what? Spiritual, and the other group is what? Material. from which you have to stay away. You are making two groups. Life is lived in duality. Reality is not dual. So therefore, there is no vijatiya bheda. You have to really understand the meaning of what it all means with reference to my interaction with the world. And the final thing is what? Swagata bheda. Most of the time, if people are not careful, not you guys, many people think, oh, so Brahman is some huge thing and you are what? That little part. It is like one muscle says, yeah, I am what? The body, but who am I? One little part of the body, and the body constitutes of many different parts. If you understand Brahman like that, you don't understand Brahman. Brahman has no swagataha bheda. Swagata bheda means in Brahman there are no parts. It is partless whole. Sajatiya, Vijatiya and Swagata Bheda Rahita. Brahman is that which doesn't belong to one group, and then there are many Brahmans and one Brahman is different from the other. There is no second thing other than Brahman. Not the coming and going of anything in this universe does not displace Brahman knowledge. You are not afraid of anything. Your knowledge does not depend upon coming and going of something. This is when you can say, and this is the last stage that our teacher says that when the fear comes, welcome fear. That is the only way to overcome fear. The fear coming and going does not displace Brahman. You are not afraid of fear. You are not trying to stay away from fear in order to be in touch with Brahman. As long as this is your orientation, you will never reach. You will never understand Brahman. So therefore, let anything come, let anything go. So many things that we love, we have to see during our lifetime things going. When I reached about 51, somebody told me it's a very difficult way of looking at the reality. But she told me from now on, you'll have to see, because you have so many elderly, like your parents, your uncles, all these people. And said slowly you have to see each of them go. It really shook me because I said, my God, what a way of looking at aging. But it's a fact. All the people that you loved, they are all going to exit one after the other. Sometimes the friendships that you build, they all, you move somewhere else. The whole thing goes. And we want to keep everything, what we like, intact. We don't know how to flow with life. flow with life with trust in Ishvara. Everybody has to do that. And one has to have trust that nothing that comes, nothing that goes, can take away the fullness that I am, knowledge. Knowledge, not frivolous. The fullness that I am is reality based. It doesn't depend upon my feelings. The feelings also change. It doesn't depend upon that. Thank God. If the whole Brahman, which is limitless, it depended upon your feeling, it would be a very fragile entity. That's a big cognitive shifts. So this is what, that there is one undivided whole which always remains undivided whole, never undergoes any change. With reference to it, there are no that the Brahmans are not many, it's only one. There is nothing other than Brahman, and that Brahman is partless, truth. Partless whole. So this is what the vision, once you are set on this vision and once you really understand what it means, what can take you away from the vision? Tell me. What can come which can take you away from the vision? Nothing. Brahmanishta. You're well established in your knowledge. It's not a superficial knowledge. So this is what a wise person is. Okay? So paramarthika, Brahma Aikyam Paramarthikam. After that, na anyat ikshate. Okay? So that if your drishti is on paramarthika, there is no second thing. From this thing, you can ask the question. People say, oh, why is this world created? We say, world is never created. If you really understand this, is there a real creation? It is only as though. The whole thing is as though. But in this as though, you have to solve the problem. So Surya has a very nice story, and that is one guru, one little boy has taken some cows to graze. And when he comes back, each of the cow has, what is it called, gallop? What is it called? How you tie the cows. Where you tie the cows. Anyway, so he tied, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. So he tied all the cows, he had 10 cows, and for 9 cows he found the rope to tie them, and one rope was missing. So this boy wasn't sure what to do, because if the boy went to sleep at night, and what if the cow walks off? Lose the cow. And he cannot go now because they were all living in a forest to search for a rope. So he didn't know what to do. So he goes to the guru and tells the guru that, you know what, I've lost one rope, so I can't tie the cow. And if I can't tie the cow will go away. So Guru said, don't worry. He was unperturbed. Unperturbed not because everything is one, And cow goes, cow comes, doesn't matter. Doesn't fly. Doesn't fly with this superficial Vedanta vision. Clever, looking for solutions. He said, the cow every evening is used to being tied. So, you do what? The act of tying to the cow, and cow will stay. So he goes and just as he tied every other cow, then what? He also tied this cow. He was still doubting. He says, this is a trick of my guru, but I'm not sure if it is going to work. Next morning he comes and he's so happy the cow is still there. Wow! He tells the guru, he's so happy. He tells the guru, wow, it worked. The cow stayed. Wonderful. He was so happy. He had breakfast, then it was time for him to again take the cows for grazing. So he unties all the 9 cows, and all the 9 cows start walking. And this cow is not tied, so he thought he'll start walking. This cow doesn't walk. Now he's saying, oh my God, by trying to solve one problem, I got into another problem. Now he doesn't go. He runs back to the guru and he says, you know, you solved this problem, but I'm stuck with another one. This is how our life is. So he's stuck with another one. And the guru says, don't worry, unperturbed. But what should I do now? He says, just as you had tied, you also do the action of untying. So he goes, and just as he did the action of untying to all the 9 cows, he also did what? The action of untying to the last cow. What did the cow do? Started walking. Our whole problem is like this. Your bondage is imaginary, but it is so real for you. You need what? Solution. You need somebody to untie it.
I thought it was inborn.
What?
The ignorance.
Yeah. So ignorance everybody is born with. Because of the avarana shakti of Maya, everybody is inborn. Everybody is inborn, but we are stuck with that. We are not able to get out of it. But it's an imaginary problem. If Atma was already bound, it can never be free. But you are stuck with the problem of Atma being limited. That's your imaginary problem, because Atma is never limited.
But then how can it be bound?
So,
I don't understand.
so that binding, was it real of the cow? No. Binding was as long as the cow thought it was bound. Then the freedom, how did it come? When the cow saw that I am free. The bondage is what? Imaginary in the sense that we are all born with it. But there is, if Atma had become small, no action of yours can make it limitless. Atma has never become small, but by your own thinking, it has what? Become as good as this individuality. Jiva. Even when you think you are a jiva, an individual, Atma is always limitless.
So who's thinking that the jiva is a jiva? The jiva is
Yeah,
thinking that.
exactly. See, the name Jiva is not some Jiva. The name Jiva itself comes from awareness because of the ignorance, right, takes oneself to be as good as the body, mind, sense complex. It's identification with Sthula Sharira, physical body, subtle body, and the causal body.
Awareness is identified.
No, awareness is not. The person, the jiva, the individual. See, for whom is the problem? Is awareness has a problem, awareness does not have a problem. The individual has the problem. What is the problem? I am limited. For whom is the solution? Is it for awareness? No. For whom is the solution? For jiva. Right? Now, I am limited is a conclusion, but has I ever become limited? No. This is called ignorance. I has never become limited, but I act in the world as though I am limited. Imaginary problem, not real problem. And if I is for me limited, the Guru has to make it what? Free. But has anything happened to really I? Was I initially bound and then it is becoming free? Atma is already free. Whether you know it or not, Atma is free. Then you can say, oh, if Atma is free, what difference does it make to me if I know it or not know it? It makes all the difference. If you don't know it, you continue to live in this world as a limited entity with all your suffering intact.
So imaginary problem, but also imaginary solution.
Excellent. The wonderful. In fact, it's imaginary. I will say slightly differently here. I will say that the problem exists within mithya. The solution is also within mithya. The teacher, another form. Is it awareness? No. The another form is mithya. The speech, mithya. The mind of a teacher, mithya. True. This is how it is. You have to understand. Because Satyam, awareness, has never spoken. This is why people ask, oh yeah, how can mind know the final reality? Hey, you have only mind to know final reality. You better understand that. Awareness doesn't have ignorance. Mind has ignorance. And only the mind can remove the ignorance by exposing itself to the right means of knowledge. The only thing is, mind cannot produce limitlessness. Correct. Because mind being limited, it cannot produce limitlessness. But if there is already a limitlessness, mind can, what can it do? Remove the ignorance.
That's why it says on verse 19, pure awareness identified with antakarana is jiva. So pure awareness hasn't identified.
Yeah,
It's
that's true. That we
The
give it a
translation
name.
is Chidabhasa.
Yeah. See,
Okay,
Chidabhasa and all this
And
is
it's
these are all.
reflected, so it's a bit kind of...
Okay.
See, that's why if you keep on staying with the direct meaning of the words, you'll never get Vedanta. That's why you need a teacher.
Okay.
Because there is a word called Chidabhasa and you have to use it.
Yeah, but here it's avoided in translation, but then it
But
confuses as
then
well.
yeah.
That's the problem.
So,
Yeah.
and I actually don't get the problem, the point why it's really, why Swamiji really didn't wanted to take it out, because Shankara used it and why?
See, the thing is, when you use the the normal thing is reflecting, reflected consciousness. That is what is Chidabhasa. What is reflected consciousness? Tell me. What is this reflected?
For me, it's like in the mind. For me, it's this like in the mind. You have this light of consciousness, like the aliveness, the difference than the box. The consciousness in the box is different.
So that is sentient body.
The sentiency, yeah.
So that is sentient, that is Sukshma Sharira. So now you tell
But
me...
I think they use it differently. I think they use it like the mind has this quality to reflect.
So that mind, that is covered within the 4 different functions of the mind. One is what? This I sense, which has a self-reflexive capacity.
Yeah.
So this is why.
I heard
There is a kind of an appearance of that awareness. The minute a form comes into being, it appears to be confined. This is a much saner way of understanding than thinking that there is something else there.
But I think here they use it more in the way like reflection, the Chidavasa is not reflected in the cup. I
But
think they wouldn't use it in this.
This
this
is why,
way.
but then reflected means what? That there is something out there and then there is a media and it gets reflected.
But this is the
So-
way how we see it. I mean, we have the mind and we have. I mean, this is the Viveka. I think we have to do.
I've heard that the mind, the Sukshma Sharira is insentient.
Yeah.
That all Mitya is
The subtle
insentient.
matter.
That it's illumined, its sentiency comes from awareness. I don't know, this is what
This is the Vedanta that Swamiji doesn't use.
Okay.
Because the problem is, insentient means it has come into being without awareness. When you call it insentient,
It's as though, because of the power of Maya, it as though becomes...
It's not
insensate. I
separated.
don't know.
You cannot separate it, but
but it is, see that then you think that there is one object which has come into being which is insentient. The 5 elements themselves are coming from awareness. Where is insentiency then? What, you see what I mean? And then there is some awareness which kind of gives it a light.
And which is separate,
And which is separate.
is reflected in the body-mind, which is like the reflecting medium. So you enter in so many complications, unnecessary complications.
Just an intermediate step
Yeah.
to make
I don't
it
know. For
clear
me,
that-
I don't enter in conflict.
So it's okay, so stay with that. If this method suits you,
Yeah.
you can stay with that. We think,
Because otherwise I can't explain the difference between mind and matter, you know, and mind has this quality has a different
no,
quality.
it's okay. If
And
it works for you,
I
it's
don't
okay.
know how to explain it.
Because awareness is everywhere. It's not. Awareness is everywhere and there
For
is a
sure.
Sukshma
For
Sharira.
sure, yeah.
Sukshma Sharira explains the differences.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but then it's you know it's for sure, but the Sukshma Sharira has a different quality,
Yeah, exactly.
and it has this quality. It has the possibility to say I, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And that is because of the presence of awareness and that in that Maya capacity there is a need for Sukshma Sharira where awareness can actually manifest.
Yeah, can manifest.
Can manifest.
Yeah, we say manifest, not reflect.
Yeah.
Okay, I can live with manifest too, but still there's a
But
there's
awareness
difference,
also manifests in the gross body.
yeah.
but different.
Yeah, but it's both manifestations, so that doesn't bring the difference.
Yeah, but that's why in that Maya Shakti, that Sukshma Sharira is capable. Like this light bulb is capable of what? Shining. That's part of the design, right? Any other matter is not able to shine. That is part of the design. All knowledge and all power.
This is the difference. The one shines and the other doesn't shine. And this is what
this is
somebody,
Basa, this is the
something,
translation of Basa.
somebody says, reflecting. If it's shining, not,
Yeah.
then that's why the reflecting word is used.
Probably. But our teacher never used this word because it creates for him a wrong structure for Vedanta. People get stuck in this methodology, they never get Vedanta.
What's the confusion exactly that it creates?
It creates a confusion because there is, there is something which is away and then there is a medium and it gets reflected.
So there is the original awareness, which is somewhere, and it gets reflected here. So by using the word reflected, means that like in a mirror, your image is reflected.
So there's some kind of
So there is an original, there is a medium of reflection, and there is a reflected image.
So that means the reflected sun is not the sun. That is a huge problem. So that means if awareness is reflected here, it's not the original awareness. That is the problem.
But if we know
It's a
everything
huge
is
problem.
awareness, then
This
this
certainty is not there.
I don't know.
but only if
I was
you
almost
don't
stuck with this.
Yeah.
only if you don't see that that reflection is mithya. I mean, if you see that the reflection is mithya, then it's resolved the problem. It's as though. But anyway, I don't know.
And also, you see this category called inert and all. There is no such thing called, because everything, its mithya relationship means cannot exist without awareness. So these are all just kind of methodology. Vritti is inert. That is a very kind of as though there is a thought which is already inert and there is an awareness which is giving it some life.
Because it's two apparent orders of the one reality.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are two apparent orders of same reality. And that reality is everywhere. So this is why, for our teacher, this was making unnecessarily very complicated things, and then people kind of, get into some kind of a frame of mind which is
So you have
It's
to
not
know one
clear.
thing, is that in this Vedanta tradition, there are some people who use certain methodologies,
Yes.
and some people use some other
other
methodologies.
methodology.
Each of them has their limitation. So don't enter in this thing. You just see, I mean, we have tried to show you what is the limitation and the complication that this reflected thing is creating. But if you are comfortable with that, then stay with that. We have no issue. We have no stand on that. But as teachers, we know that when we use a method of teaching, we know the limitation of each method, and we know also what problems it can create for a good assimilation. The whole attempt when you use a methodology is that it has to make you see something, not to create
Easily.
further distortion.
And not to create complication in
Right.
as it is, it's a complex knowledge.
Like
Yeah.
you use Drik Drishya, which is not the final reality, but leads us.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
It's the same.
it's the same. I mean, if it's leading to the right
Exactly.
conclusion,
If it
Absolutely.
is, but see,
if it's not,
true, it is not, then that is true. What is the easiest method to communicate without creating further complications? As it is, it's so difficult. And this is why actually what is interesting is people ask, and this is a very common question, if vritti is inert, then how it can understand awareness?
Yeah, exactly. That was my question.
So these are the problems that happen when you actually categorize things like that. So this is where, as Surya very rightly says, different methodologies are used, but our teacher very categorically thought that this is making things far more complicated than what is necessary. And you don't want to further complicate an intricate subject matter. You use a method which is as direct as possible. So, this is where what it says is that what happens, what is the order in which the whole ignorance goes, and that is pratibhasika jivasya laye syuhu vyavaharike tat laye sachidanandaha paryavasyanti sakshini. So, first your pratibhasika, your subjectivities have to go and you have to be in touch with Vyavaharika. Vyavaharika is what is Ishvara Srishti. And when you are more or less with Ishvara Srishti, then Tat Laye, right, Sachidanandaha. Then you go one step further in the inquiry, and even Vyavaharika, the empirical reality itself has its basis in Sachidananda. Sachidananda means Atma. And that, once that thing is paryavasyanti sakshini. So that means your whole buddhi, once it has reached what the paramarthika Sachidananda, then it stays there. There is nothing which can shake that vision. This is what we call Drik Drishya Viveka. Paramarthika to Vyavaharika, Pratibhasika to Vyavaharika, and Vyavaharika to Paramarthika. What is Pratibhasika? From your subjective view of the world to what the world is, which is Ishvara Srishti. And from Ishvara Srishti to what? The absolute reality. And this is why this one, the vision of oneness is a gift to humanity. Okay? That one is right now there, and it is undivided, and there are no levels. The whole thing, all the differences that you see exist in Mithya Jagat. And Mithya Jagat itself depends upon what? This awareness. And Mithya Jagat is organized through Sarvajna Sarvashaktiman Ishvara, where some things appear sentient, some things appear insentient. It's all part of Ishvara's design. Ishvara itself has its being in awareness. Nothing is away from awareness. There are no levels of awareness. Awareness is one undivided whole. So that is the vision of the Vedas, and hope that vision of the Veda is transferred to you all to a certain extent. That has been my attempt. So, thank you.
The sentence here, impurity Jiva ceases to exist, doesn't mean death of the body in this
No.
No, Sachina Paryavans
It's resolved here.
No.
resolved in the
Yeah, it resolved means, yeah, exactly. Doesn't mean that the Jiva. Yeah, so.
Understand the same Sachidananda Atma ends in Sakshi. What is meant with ends in Sakshi?
So that means that initially when you looked at the Drik Drishya Viveka, we saw that what? Sakshi was the word which was used as Drik Swarupa.
So ends in Sakshi, it doesn't go away, it means like it's resolved in Sakshi.
It is
Yes.
resolved.
Yeah.
So, this is the end of the teaching. I will just end with
Prayer.
prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate